The red lights on the wall ticked down from 10 minutes. Dr. Elaine Foster's pulse matched the rhythm of the countdown. Each passing second tightened the knot in her chest. Around her, the temporal research lab was in chaos. Alarms shrieked, lights flickered, and somewhere deep in the bowels of the building, something alive was scratching against steel. "Seal the chamber," she shouted, but no one listened. Most of the staff had already fled, scattering like panicked little birds. Those who stayed were too busy typing in their frantic commands or screaming into radios that no longer worked. Elaine's gaze locked under the temporal core, the heart of their experiment. A sphere of shimmering light, swirling with impossible colors, pulsed in time with the clock. It was beautiful. It was death. The first test, they had called it Project Chronos, a device capable of folding time, letting them skip backwards or forwards by seconds, minutes, even hours. The first test had gone flawless. A rabbit sent back 10 minutes reappeared healthy, though its eyes darted around the room as if it had seen something terrifying. The second test was not flawless. On that day, they had sent Elaine's assistant Jacob back 2 hours. He returned wrong. His body was the same, but his voice was hoarse. His words were fragmented. They were waiting, he whispered before collapsing. He died within minutes, his skin gray, as if time itself had been drained. In the present, the countdown had hit 7 minutes and 39 seconds. The sphere pulsed violently, and the wave of pressure rattled Elaine's teeth. The lab's reinforced walls groaned. A low hum became a whisper. It wasn't mechanical, it was a language. Words curdling around her mind like smoke. "We have found you." Her stomach dropped. The same words Jacob had mumbled before he died. A shadow shifted inside the sphere. Not a shadow cast by light, but something moving within the time stream itself, like a ripple in a black ocean. It had no shape that she could discern or even describe, but her brain insisted on seeing long, jointed limbs, a mouth that opened in too many directions. The whispers grew louder. 10 minutes is all you have. Elaine's research notes had warned of temporal predators, entities that existed outside linear reality. They didn't move through time, they fed on it. And now the experiment had ripped a hole in it large enough for one of them to notice. The countdown reached 6 minutes. A figure staggered into the lab. Marcus, the lead systems engineer. His left arm was gone, and the stump smoked as if it had been burned out of existence. "They're in the hallways," he screamed. "They're skipping through the seconds." Elaine ran to him. "What do you mean, skipping?" "They don't walk. One moment they're behind you, the next moment they're in front of you. You can't outrun something that doesn't obey time." Something slammed into the blast door. The metal shrieked. A series of deep, resonating knocks followed, too slow and deliberate to be human. 5 minutes left. Marcus grabbed her shoulders. "We have to shut it down." Elaine shook her head. "If we shut it down wrong, the implosion could erase everything in a mile radius. Past, present, future." Another slam against the door. The steel began to bulge inward. Marcus raised his pistol, knowing it was pointless. A distorted arm slid through the gap that hadn't existed a second ago. Long, skeletal, the color of static. Fingers flexed, each joint bending the wrong way. Marcus fired the bullets. They rushed slowly through the air. Then they rusted and fell to the floor as dust. The whispers came again, all around them now. "You are already ours." 4 minutes left. Elaine tore her gaze from the nightmare arm. "We could just jump forward to after they're already gone." Marcus laughed bitterly. "If they feed on time, jumping forward is like handing them a banquet." The lab lights died, replaced by a faint glow from the sphere. It cast their shadows long against the walls, but the shadows began to moving out of sync. Elaine's shadow tilted its head when she didn't. Marcus's shadow grinned with teeth that he didn't have. A sudden burst of static filled the room. Then a third voice spoke, her own voice, but older, ragged. "Don't let them touch you. If they touch you, you become them." 3 minutes. The blast door vanished, not destroyed, not gone, just erased from this timeline. Beyond the hallway was a tunnel of distorted movements, scenes replaying and reversing at random. A cup falling, shattering, reassembling, a researcher screaming backwards into silence. The creatures stepped through. They weren't walking, they were arriving, skipping between the seconds, like stepping stones. Their limbs twitched as if describing which way to exist in time. Faces flickered across them. Jacob's face, Marcus's face, even her own. Marcus fired again. This time the bullets froze in midair, and the creature ate it, the lead dissolving into a gray mist. 2 minutes left. Elaine dragged Marcus towards the console. Help me reroute the temporal charge. We can collapse the sphere into itself, closing a loop. You mean trap them? Yes, but we'll be trapped too. Marcus hesitated for less than a second. Better than letting them loose. The sphere screamed. There was no other word for it. And the temperature dropped. Frost formed on the consoles. But the frost didn't spread evenly. In some spots it melted, back into water droplets, rising into the air. 1 minute left. They entered the override commands, their fingers shaking. The creatures moved closer, time stuttering around them. Every time Elaine blinked, they would be a little nearer. Her voice whispered again, and this time in the right ear. One of them is already... Marcus slammed the final key. Done! The sphere's light flickered, folding in on itself. The whispers rose into a single wordless scream. One of the creatures lunged. Marcus shoved Elaine out of the way. Its hand brushed his chest. Marcus froze. His skin went gray. His eyes rolled white. He looked at her and smiled with too many teeth. 0. The world imploded into light. For a moment, Elaine was everywhere. The past, the future, sideways. Seeing infinite timelines of herself. Most of them already dead. One smiled back at her with eyes black with like starlight. Then she was standing in the lab again. The clock read 10. Everything was as it had been before the breach. Marcus was alive, uninjured. The blast door was intact. The sphere hummed peacefully. Dr. Forrester, Marcus said, frowning. Are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. She didn't answer. But outside the lab, she could see the window. And in the corner of her vision, she saw her own shadow smiling.